everyone, who have we got? It's Jonathan here. I can see we've got Aniko, Jennifer and Shona.
Hello, good evening.
Are we going to go video or do you want to stay with just audio?
I'm happy with my audio, if that's okay with you, Jonathan.
Yeah,
This is
that's
Aniko.
fine. Jennifer, I got a message from you. I will go video so you can see my ugly mug. There we go. Hello. Right, well, I'm going to start. Can you all hear me? Can you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Great. Okay, now I'm going to start off by apologising for the poor start to the module. I wasn't set up on my DLE with the module, so I couldn't get in touch with you because I didn't know who you were. So I do apologise for that, but hopefully we can make up for it. I also want to say, plug my lead back in before I lose the internet. I also want to give you an idea of how I want to work and how I hope that'll benefit you. So my sole job with you is to make sure you do well in the assessment. So I will do whatever you want to make sure that happens, despite the poor start. Now, that means I'm going to be available pretty much all the time, either by email or phone or text. I was going to suggest, if you want to, that we'll set up a WhatsApp group. I prefer to work by WhatsApp because you can attach messages, documents and everything to it. So if that would work for you, I'll do that. The way that I suggest, well, let's start with the webinars. What I'm not going to do with the webinars is lecture you, because what we're effectively have in these modules is a flipped classroom. So you're given the material to look at, or a flipped classroom is where you're sort of given the material beforehand rather than the lecturer standing up and lecturing to you. You're given the material, and then the classroom time, which effectively this webinar is to review the material, make sure you haven't got any difficulties, raise any questions for you to interact with each other and with me. So I'm not going to go over the same material that you've already looked at, if that's okay with you. I think it would probably bore you to death anyway, and certainly my voice probably wouldn't hold out. So can I suggest the way, if you've got the time, the way that it will work during a week. So I think the best thing to do, if you can do this, is from Monday to sort of Thursday afternoon, is to look over the material that is in the activities, works through most of the activities, and be aware of the activity that is asking you to post in your learning journal. And then we'll have the webinar on a Thursday. I'll try and do it every Thursday if we can. And then if you get a chance on the Friday over the weekend, then post that week's activity in the learning journal. I will give you feedback as soon as I can. Does that all make sense? Am I talking too much without you putting any input in?
No, that makes perfect sense. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay. Now I want to talk a bit about both the amount of work that I would expect you to do each week and also how it fits with the assignment at the end, which you have to do at the end. Have you all seen what the assignment is? Have you all had a look at the module guide? Silence.
Well, I had the guide and had a look.
Sorry?
Sorry, I had a guide because I requested it from you and had a look, and I think it started making more sense now, that's for sure.
I thought it might. The module, unfortunately, another thing I need to apologise for, which I've sorted out today, is the module guide wasn't actually on the DLE so it should be now. So if you need to look at the module guide and haven't already, please have a look on DLE and download it. It's a Word document and it's reasonably well written, so have a look. Hilary, the module leader, updated it today, so it should be all updated. And towards the end of that is the assignment that you've got to do. Now, when you look at that assignment, there's quite a lot of information there about it. When you look at that assignment or the request for what you need to do in the assignment, you'll see how it fits with the weekly sessions. So you'll see quite a lot of synchronicity between the weekly sessions and what you're asked to do the assignment. So if you're sensible, the implication of that is if you do the weekly learning journal posts activities, you can pretty much use that in your assignment when you come to do it. Now, I'm not going to say it's a copy and paste job, but you're not far off it. So try and keep on top of those weekly learning journal posting activities, and it'll make your assignment, the task for the assignment, a lot easier. If you go and have a look at that, you'll see what I mean. Now, the other implication or the inference we can draw from that is that the number of words I think that you're being requested to write for your assignment is 4,000 to 5,000, which sounds an awful lot. But if you relate that to the fact there are effectively 9 weekly sessions, you can see that the number of words that you need to write on average each weekly session, if you're going to translate that to the assignment at the end, is roughly 500 to 600. So, that's not a lot of words every week. So I'm not expecting you to write sort of a 2,000-word essay in your learning journal every week. I would much prefer you to have thought about it a bit more and written a very succinct 500 or 600 words. I mean, you can go over that if you like, but you'll have to edit it out when you come to use that material for your learning journal. Am I making sense so far? Or for your assignment, I should say. Does that make sense?
Yes.
No, I'm a little bit confused because I'm not. I think it's just because I've not really done much like this before.
No, that's fine.
Jonathan. But the last assignment that I did, which was on the leadership practice module, we had like a question almost, or a thing that you had to then write. So I did use the learning journal stuff that we'd done. To feel part of that. Obviously the question, but I can't see that there's an actual kind of question here. Am I missing what it is?
There should be. I mean, I haven't got the module in front of me.
Sorry, it's on the next page. I was reading all the learning outcomes and thinking, well, that's great. I can't see what you're asking me to do though, and it's on the next page. Sorry.
Okay, sorry. There should be every week. There should be there are several activities every week. Some of which are asking you to just ponder things. Some of which are asking you to post in the forum, and some of which are, or one of which will say, do this in your learning journal. And when you look at what you're asked to put in your learning journal, you will see there is a close correlation with what the task in the assignment is asking you to do. Is that so?
It was for the main one. I wasn't quite clear, but I've scrolled down. That was all it took. I can see it now.
That's all right. What I'm trying to get across is if you keep on top of those learning journal activities every week and can write very succinctly, so you're not producing more than maybe 500-600 words on average, then it'll make your life much easier when you come to do the assignment. And you'll see if you look at the weekly session subjects and you look at what's being asked in the assignment, you'll see how closely they correlate. So just that would be my recommendation. The other thing I wanted to say is that it's very important. I'm more interested in your ability to think critically and write reflectively on once you've done that critical thinking. So are you all reasonably comfortable with what that means? Silence again.
Sorry, I'd muted myself. Yeah, I'm comfortable with that. Yeah.
Good. Who am I? So I don't know who's speaking, so you have to.
Sorry, that's Shona.
Okay.
Shona, sorry.
Yeah. Nico, are you happy with that? You still there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still there. I'm happy. Is that right? That you expecting the writing sort of in the style as well, like you would write it to a managing director?
Well, yeah. I mean, what I'm looking for really is I'm going to assume every week that you're on top of the actual technical content of what we're trying to teach you. So, I'm sure you're intelligent enough to grasp that, although, that's what we're here for, to make sure you do. But on top of that, I'm expecting you to kind of analyze that within the context of your own practice, so what you do at work, and also to evaluate it. So what happens next, what if, that kind of stuff. So most people tend to fall into their comfort zone and just write descriptively. I'm terrible at that. But really, you need to move on and say, well, how do I analyze that? How do I unpack it? And what does that mean in the context of in this case, my professional development or the organization that I'm working for? So that's really what I mean, I think in a nutshell, about critical thinking and reflective writing. So that's what I'm expecting to see. And that's what I'll pick up on on the most. So does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense, and I'm hoping my next journal will see the improvement.
Yeah, I'm sure you're brilliant at it already. Okay, so that's the basics of the kind of, the sort of peripheral side. Now, on the stuff that we've done so far around the leadership, all that leadership stuff, are you all okay with that? How did you find the learning materials? Were you okay with them? Did it make sense? Were you all doing the stuff that it was trying to teach you? Anybody want to share
Yes.
Anybody want to share with me some of the stuff that there? Your preferred styles, your leadership styles? Anybody feel like they want to share that with us?
On the leadership styles, sorry, because I've kind of moved on and I've had a really tough day at work today as well.
Okay,
So
no, it's no worries. I don't want to. Sorry, just let me answer
thing.
a second. Now, what I don't want to do is make these sessions difficult, because they're not supposed to be difficult. I don't want to do that. So if you don't want to share anything, or you just want to doze off, that's
No,
absolutely
I don't
fine
mind.
with me.
I just want to make sure I'm talking about the right thing. So, was that the Young model? Was it with the colours?
Yeah, well, the conclusion is that you will have a preferred style of leadership that comes out of it, how you can contribute to the team. So, yeah, the Young's ones. I mean, does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I mean, I came out kind of, I had an equal number on two things with that, so
Yeah.
I was kind of blue and green.
Right. Good.
Um,
Okay. Yeah.
which was quite interesting, because actually when I got my colleagues to do it for me, they'd put me quite different actually, which was quite
Okay.
strange. So
Well,
yeah, they'd kind of,
that is quite interesting, because we all perceive ourselves, I think, differently than other people perceive us.
yeah, it was, but there was no consistency with it. So because I work with lots of different departments in the business, so I specifically went and spoke to different people in
Right.
different departments, because my interactions are different.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, I'll get a good all-round view then. And it was quite surprising that every department had me very different.
Yeah.
So I obviously react in very different ways to different people.
Yeah, well, that's probably because that's probably not a bad thing. So you're adapting what I guess is your leadership style to fit with the situation that you're in, which is probably quite a good thing, because, what's supposed to come out, I think, a lot from this reading is that actually dogmatically sticking to one leadership style is probably not a good thing. You need to be able to adapt. You need to probably have one preferred leadership style, which you feel most comfortable with, but you should be aware of other leadership styles which you can deploy for different situations. So you're probably already doing that, which is not a bad thing.
Just unconsciously.
Yeah. And also the personality traits, you kind of alluded to that a little bit. Did you manage to pick up a bit? I mean, I'm really aiming this at Anika, I think, because Shoni, you've given us some feedback. Can you still hear me, Anika? Do you want to share anything about your personality traits with us?
Yeah, I think I'm quite task orientated in a way. I'm quite the person who always wants to get things done properly and in a high standard and things like that. So that sort of come out in that way, in terms of trait theory as well.
Yeah.
For me, I have the same. I don't have all the forms back yet, but some people, so sees me in a different, like a supporter way as well. So that, I guess that's also a good way.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Well, that all sounds pretty positive. The other thing that people have difficulty with is the difference between leadership and management. Are you all comfortable with that? I mean, I can. Where are we? I'm going to try and share my screen here. So let me find my technical incompetence. So, have you got that? Can you see that? Should be able to. Let's have a look. These are what have I got here? What are we, audience view? That's what I want to look at. There we go. So this is taken from one of the, let me just get rid of that if I can. Can I get rid of that without switching off? People can see you, it's just come up on my screen. Right. So this is taken from one of the slides, which I think actually pretty much it's a bit long-winded, but it does kind of give you the difference between leadership and management, because I find in the jobs that I've had where I'm expected to know the difference between leadership and management. It's very difficult to know, but actually I think the bit underneath here that I like, can you see this? The main difference between leaders and managers is that leaders have people follow them and managers have people work for them. So that really, I mean, it takes all that and it kind of just summarizes it, and that's about all it is. And then there's a bit below that, which I hope you can see. Let me just get rid of this a bit. That's better. A successful business owner needs to be, and this comes to people that lead other businesses, not just small businesses, need to be a strong leader and manager. To be both a strong leader and manager. So you need to be having elements of both to get their team on board to follow them towards their vision of success. So on that first sentence, or from that first sentence, what I draw is the fact you've got to be a leader and a manager, and also you need to have a vision. So it goes on to say leadership is about getting people to understand and believe in your vision and to work with you to achieve your goals, while managing is more about administering and making sure the day-to-day things are happening as they should. So I'm going to ask you a question now. What is leadership for? Anybody want to share?
Yeah, see, from my perspective, I think leadership is about dealing with the unexpected.
Yeah.
Or driving change. So, trying to drive a business, grow a business, move it forward, or dealing with crisis when crisis happens. And kind of getting a business through that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas management is the kind of business as usual, day-to-day stuff to me.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I was looking for something a bit more fundamental, which I shall share this with you as well. Leadership is for the benefit of the led. That's what I was looking for. If you haven't got anybody following you, then you're not a leader. So
okay.
I mean that's you need to remember that, I think, because I'm a big fan of what happens after being a leader. So we can all learn what leadership is all about. I think we can look at all the kind of different papers and tables and PowerPoint presentations and wonder whether we're charismatic enough or whether we've got the right vision, all that sort of stuff. But none of that matters at all unless you've got followers. So so again, I took another sentence out of one of the papers that you had to look at, which again I'm going to read to you. Is effective followership is about enthusiasm, intelligence and self-reliant participation without star billing in pursuit of an organizational goal. So those are the sort of followers you're looking for. So your job as a leader with potentially followers is to get followers like that. So lots of followers fall into kind of victim mode, don't they? Where they blame everybody else but themselves, and they feel that they're having work imposed upon them, and they can be cynical. But if you can distill your leadership style to have effective followership, which encompasses those things, then you're not far off being perfect, I think. So that leads me on to the last thing that I was going to talk about, because I want to keep these seminars short and I don't want to be lecturing, as I said. But I wanted to ask you if you'd seen the video, the Dancing Man video. Have you seen that?
No.
Right. I am going to try and share that with you because I think it's quite fun anyway, and we'll have a quick chat about what you get from it. I'm not sure this is going to work actually, because I tried to be clever. So let's see if it will work. Doesn't look like it's working, does it? Let me see if I can get it from here. Oh, that doesn't want to move. It's determined to stay at the top. First follower. There we go. Right. So just it's only a couple of minutes long, 3 minutes long. So sorry about the quality, by the way. Can you hear it?
I can't hear it.
No, I can't hear it.
You can't hear it? Hang on, let me stop that a minute then. I think I have two versions going. Okay. Right. pause that second. So you can't hear that?
No.
Okay. What I'll do is it's worth watching. It's about you can be a lone nut and have an idea or a vision, but that's absolutely no use at all without followers. So it's really quite an interesting little video about that. So what I'll do is I'll post that. I'll post that in the forum for you to have a look at, and you can make of it what you will, whether they're just a load of old drug addicts dancing at a festival or whether you get something from it. I found it quite interesting because really for me it said, well, yeah, I can have all the visions I want in the world, but unless I get somebody to follow me, then nothing's going to happen. So the first follower is actually the most important person. It's more important than you as a leader, actually, because without the first follower, you're not going to get any other people following you. So I'll post that and you can have a look at it. I don't have anything else I want to say, but what I do want to do now, if you're okay with it, is to close my screen to start with so that we get rid of that, which should mean you're looking at that. Somewhere people can see me. Sure you can see me. What's that? Wish I had to get myself back again. But anyway, never mind. So do you have anything so far that you want to raise that you're not sure of, or in either the module sort of administration or any of that sort of stuff, or the technical work that you want to raise now? Are you okay?
No, the only thing, Jonathan, is the links. A lot of the links aren't working, and we had this in a couple of, in the first 2 modules that we've done where links weren't working.
Okay. I did have a chat today. I saw your email conversation with Lise. So I thought she'd got that sorted. Has she not got that sorted yet? Which links? I think which links don't work, Shona? Can you tell me, or do you want to just maybe email with them for me? Because when I checked, they were all working so far.
Well, I had a conversation with Amanda as well, who's given me the links to some of the materials to read. I think it was related to Harvard.
Okay.
Harvard. Yeah. So that one didn't, and I managed to get the link from her. And she said the other website, she said the previous tutor had tutor posted it and they can't get access to it. But maybe if you raise it to you, then you might be able to get the material back up on.
Okay. Well, can you? We're going to have to do this on a kind of weekly basis, I think, because that's going to be. Well, what I'll do, I'll try and go through the material and look and see what links aren't there. But if you could let me know so far what links, would that be okay? Would you mind doing that?
Sure. Yeah, because the Harvard Business Review is always tricky because they don't like the links.
No.
So anything you link into Harvard Business Review, it just doesn't like it. So normally, I find it through Primo if it's an HBR link, because there's normally another EBSCO host or something you can find it on.
Yeah.
But there was one that I couldn't find at all, even though I'd searched all over the place for it.
Yeah.
And then there was another one that linked into, this is reading 1 on week 3. Yeah. There was another, so there were 2 reading materials, and neither of them I could access. I couldn't find them anywhere.
Okay. Was it you that I sent a couple of links to, or was that somebody else? Sorry if I forgot. I've sent links to somebody.
I haven't had anything, no.
Okay. Right.
And then on week 2, there was a link that took you to Mind Tools or something, a website called Mind Tools, and it was asking us to pay a monthly subscription to view the material.
Right. Okay. Right. I will have to have a look at that. So what I'll do is I'll go through. What I'll try and do is let's try and think this weekend. Yeah, I should be able to have a look at what the links are this weekend, and I'll go back over the. I'll try. I won't be able to do it tomorrow because I'm out tomorrow. But I'll go back over the previous weeks and I'll look at this week and I will look at the following week to make sure the links work, and I'll try and do that on a weekly basis.
Right.
If you come across,
I know I'm coming across like I'm panicking a bit, but March for me, as I've explained, is so busy at work that I'm like every minute counts.
Don't worry about it. It's not your problem, and I'm very sorry it's happened. So
no, I know, but I'm not normally so pedantic or fussy or, you know, kind of. But I just.
You don't need to apologise. You're absolutely entitled for these things to work, you know. So don't worry about
that. Thank you.
I can't guarantee. I mean, obviously, I've got other stuff to do, but I can't. But I will come back to you. So if you can let me know as soon as possible, either by email or, you know, whichever way you want to. But I will get back to you about it as soon as I possibly can.
Okay.
If I don't, give me a good kicking, because I'm happy to do that.
I am local, you know, so I could do that.
Right, whereabouts are you?
Currently sat in St Budo.
Oh, right, that's a long way from where I am in North Devon, so.
Oh, okay.
So you have to be long legs to kick me at the moment, although I am in Plymouth tomorrow. Okay, yeah, I mean that's we'll get that sorted. I guarantee it's going to get sorted immediately. But if you come across a link that's not working, let me know, and I will make sure that I find something, either that link or something similar that you can have a look at. Okay.
Great, thank you. Thank you.
Aniko, have you got anything that you're not happy with, or that is puzzling you, or you want to ask a question about, or you want to comment about, or any of that sort of stuff?
Not right now, but I might send you a separate email about something.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, obviously you don't want to share everything on this forum. That's absolutely fine. So what was I going to say? I'm going to find it hard to do these webinars to fit in with everybody. So I will have to try and do it where I can get the most people to join. I mean, unfortunately, we've only had 3 or 4 tonight. I would like more than that if possible, because previous experience shows the more people engage, the better they do. I would like to keep these. I know you're busy people, so I don't want to go on like I have tonight. I'd like to keep them to about 20 minutes, if that's all right with you. Obviously, we can do more. I will book them for an hour, so we can do more if we have to. But I would try and like to keep them for 20 minutes. Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay. What else was I going to say? Do you want me to set up a WhatsApp group? Do you all use WhatsApp? Do you find it useful? Because I won't bother if you don't. But if you're something you can use, I've got another group on. Go on. Sorry, say.
Yeah, sorry. I would find that really useful. Yes.
Okay.
Please.
I will obviously need your mobile phone numbers. I think I have them, but I will make sure that I sort that out. I don't know how much interaction you have with the other students on the course, if any, or whether any of you know them. But the more people we have on these webinars, the better, because as time goes on over the next few weeks, I want to say nothing or very little, but I want you to be interacting with each other a lot more, and kind of looking at each other's problems or things you've derived from the work. So if you have anybody else and you can persuade them to join us, that would be great. Otherwise, it's going to be down on your shoulders to do the interaction. So I'm just trying to think whether there's anything else. I don't think there's anything from me. So I'll have a look at those links now, and if you want to contact me for any other reason, let me know, and I will, I'll try and sort things out. Is that okay?
That's great. Thank you very much.
Shall we call it a day there then?
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. I'll see you next week then, and probably speak to you during the week. Okay. Take care.
All right.
Bye.
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 Bye.